Hey, folks, I've got Mark Levin here. He is enraged, and I don't blame the guy. I'm a little pissed off myself as to what's going on. I expected more indictments of Trump, and this is not the end of them. We'll probably get three more different states. Democrat district attorneys tried to indict Trump between now and election time, and so we will probably have four, if not five, maybe six active cases going on in order to try to prove at least one thing about Trump in such a way that he won't be able to run. And I've even seen a couple of the news pundits, including MSNBC, say that Trump needs to take a plea deal to prevent uh, take a plea deal that includes him not running in 2024 in order to get off on all these charges. You know, that's the actual absolute end game for all this. We're going to get you before you get us, and that's what it boils down to. If Trump gets back in 2024, it is over for so many of these folks that have been involved in trying to rob us of our rights and take down Trump for more than 7 years now, and they know it. So it is basically a boxing match between our government and the people that want to save our country from this corrupt government, which includes Trump at the top of the rung. Uh, let's go ahead and get into Mark Levin. I'll jump out of the way here, but this is one crazy, absolutely true um, expression of how I feel as well. That's why I'm bringing you all this. It's a little bit long, but Mark Levin says it better than anybody could about what is really going on and how much of a bullshit situation this is, and just how bad Biden is compared to Trump. And he kind of lays it all out in such a way that I thought I'd share it. All right, folks, let's get into it.
This is a disgusting mark on American history for the future to come by these bandits in the White House, by the Democrat Party that don't play fair anymore. They don't want to just win elections. They want to take control of this country. They want one-party rule. And they have used the Department of Justice and the FBI to get what they want. Merrick Garland is a mob lawyer. That's what he is. Jack Reed is a rogue Soviet-style prosecutor. The Presidential Records Act is not a criminal statute, and it was never intended to be. The Espionage Act of 1917 was passed under Woodrow Wilson, another corrupt president. Woodrow Wilson used it to go after his adversaries, and they imprisoned 2,000 people. So I suppose over there at the Department of Injustice, and this clown prosecutor spent a lot of time at The Hague. They probably figured these laws could be used to try and entrap Trump. All these obstruction issues that they claim, where the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, comes up here and bloviates about it, and all the formers coming on talking about obstruction. They have them on obstruction. There'd be no obstruction issue of any kind, not even in anybody's imagination, had they not criminalized this case. This is a document case. A document case where a president of the United States or a former president faces 100 years in federal prison? Is this some kind of a sick joke on the American people? Joe Biden says he never told them what to do. Joe Biden had to sign off on that's becoming a National Archives case to have it go to the Department of Justice. Who does he think he's lying to? The American people? This is a guy that's got documents from the time he was in the U.S. Senate, for God's sakes, in his garage. I don't want to hear from the legal analysts the technicalities about false statements and obstruction. This should never have been a criminal case. Willful retention of documents.
He is pissed. I can hear it in his voice. He blasts for about 8 or 9 minutes, folks. I'll break it up a little bit, stop it a couple times in the middle, just have a little bit to say about it. But he's absolutely right. The comparison of how Biden's documents are being handled or have been handled versus how Trump handles his, and and the fact that they're going after Trump on little technicalities of how he handled his and what he did and how he had when and if he had the right to them, when they don't even look twice at the fact that Biden has got documents in five or more locations, including Chinatown, and it's not a problem. The hypocrisy is sickening, and I agree with him 100%.
Well, what's the unwillful retention of documents mean? They're throwing all these process crimes and all these crimes that grow out of the criminal investigation against Trump. What did he do with the documents? Did he sell them to the enemy? No. That's why we have an Espionage Act, not to trick up a president. What did he do? Did he burn them all? No. The government has all the documents back. So there is no violation of the Presidential Records Act at this point. But they throw the book at him. They go after his attorneys. They make them testify. They're attorneys under the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege. That means he didn't have due process.
There's actually about a dozen arguments right now that Trump was not afforded due process from the moment that his lawyers were not allowed to be there before everything was confiscated, how everybody was basically kicked out while the FBI come in and did the raid, to just the constitutionality of how procedures were handled in this case. And he's got a good argument for this. They were wrong on every level. There's no doubt about it. This is just another witch hunt. And as a matter of fact, I did a community post yesterday, and I put in three options. And the question was, do you think this indictment of Trump will not affect his 2024 reelection, uh, affect it badly, hurt it per se, or help it? And like 30% said not affect it, and like 60 something percent said that it would help it. Only 1% said this was going to hurt Trump. And that's just my listeners here. But out of hundreds of people that responded, and thank you for doing that, it only looks like 1% of the people that listen to this channel believe that all this crap with more indictments on Trump not going to hurt him at all. If anything, the poll says this is going to help him in the end. This is going to wake more people up to the fact that we've got to stop this government overreach, because if they're able to come after Trump like this, every man knows that we could be next just for being a Trump supporter. And that's pretty scary. And that's why this matters so much. Now, let's get back into it.
His own lawyers were being subjected to interrogations, and they had hundreds of in-person people testifying in front of grand juries. Thousands of collections of documents for what? For what? And they indict him today? They indict him today in Miami? All of a sudden it's in Miami? All of a sudden we have a Florida grand jury? Because the moron in Washington figured out that there are venue issues that could lose him his case. This guy, this prosecutor, he lost 8-0 in the U.S. Supreme Court when they overturned the conviction of the former governor of Virginia because this jerk took a statute and expanded it. A jury in North Carolina wouldn't convict John Edwards because this jerk took a campaign statute and expanded it. And he's taken this case and he's undermining the country and he's interfering with a presidential election. And let me be clear, as Jarrett said, the Attorney General of the United States made this final decision. This is not the independent counsel statute. This is a special counsel appointed by the Attorney General under a Department of Justice regulation. This Attorney General, who pretends he's Helen Keller, he made the decision to indict the former president, and they made the decision to interfere in this election. You want to talk about an insurrection? This is an insurrection, and that's exactly what's going on here. Let me go on.
And he can. He is only half done, folks. He is just blasting. Hope you stick around to the end, folks. This is all good information to know. I just like the way he lays this out. I can't say that enough. But he's right. Everybody should be enraged. I'm not talking about violence, but everybody should be enraged as to what's going on here. And there's got to be a solution to this. And I think it's probably going to be, in all honesty, the Democrats screwing themselves by exposing their hand, because they are desperate at this point, and their attacks on Trump show their desperation. And I hope that wakes a lot of people up. I hope this is the red pill that America needs for people to realize we better vote for Trump, otherwise we're going to be living in Gestapo land if we're not already.
Joe Biden is the crookedest crook that's ever been in the Oval Office. Everywhere we
Amen to
look, there's a
that.
predicate for a special counsel. They won't appoint a special counsel. In the case of Biden, 20 shell corporations, $10 million coming from the communist Chinese military, spread out among the family, no businesses to support this, endless meetings with Hunter Biden's business partners, Bob Alinsky, who ties Joe Biden to the crimes, Mr. Big, Mr. 10%. And what does Biden say? Well, then where's the money? He's asking us, come and catch me if you can. The idea that this man isn't under a criminal investigation and that they criminalized a damn document case to go after Donald Trump is sickening. And I would say this to our fellow Americans. Don't be bamboozled by these cable channels and these fools who come on and tell you, well, he's not above the law. Are you kidding me? Democrat Attorney General in New York, Democrat prosecutor in Manhattan, Democrat prosecutor in Atlanta, but they have taken the United States of America and they have dragged us into a hellhole. This is embarrassing, it's humiliating, and I'm going to tell you something. There are tens of millions of us. You have crossed the Rubicon twice, which has never been done, and we will never forgive you. Never, ever. And that's the bottom line. I'm done.